Hey guys, Coldbrew here. Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. This one will be all about one of the most underrated epic champions. I've said this how many times? I always say this about epics, but it has to be very underrated, alright? Jokes aside, it has to be one of the champions that nobody ever thinks about when building a team, especially a team for the Spider Dungeon. I'm not talking Spider 25, I'm talking still Spider 20. It's an area where players still have issues with. Still try to progress through and beat Spider 20. It's just they cannot do it, guys. They cannot do it. So let me just show you the champion that I'm talking about, and of course it's gonna be Spider. It has the name, and it does succeed in actually being so good at the Spider. Even the reviews for sure have him at a 5, not a 5 for the Spider. I'm disappointed in that. I'm very disappointed. Let me just explain what this champion has. I have him at level 50. I'm not even gonna bother getting him to level 60 because he's not needed for what you're trying to achieve, all right? Especially if you are stuck on maybe Spider 19, Spider 18. You do have the champions available to perform a nuke kind of a setup. Let's say you've got Cold Hearts, you've got Royal Guards, maybe you even have Husks. You can build a team around Spider to nuke it out. So Spider here built with speed sets. I'll explain why. Basically because my Cold Hearts are very fast, and I needed to make him faster than them. For this video, I didn't want to unequip the Cold Heart, so I said, okay, I might as well over-equip this guy. For the showcase, you don't need all that. He just needs to be faster than everybody else. Very simple. 248 here, but again, has to be faster than everybody else for the showcase. 249 accuracy for this guy. So why is he so good? Glowing mark is what he has that makes him very special. One of the few champions in the game that applies both defense down and weaken. Remember, this guy was available from a long time ago as a champion to have with your team. You can get this to 100% chance, although very long cooldown with a ton of books required to book it out. 5 legendary books to make this 100% chance for a decreased defense, and to make that weaken chance a little bit higher to all the way to 70%, which is still not that high for a 15% weaken. But regardless of what I've just said, it's still a great way to apply it, okay? You do not even need to worry about affinity because this is a place of a debuff. Placing a debuff does not care about affinities. This guy is force. We'll be fighting Spider 20. You don't care about being about Spider 20 being spirit, all right? You don't care about that. You're just gonna be using Spider there to apply the decreased defense, to place the decreased defense, better worded, and then also the weaken. If you can land it at 70% chance, it's pretty good. Then it means you'll be doing some solid damage. But he enables your team to do that. He has a great aura. If you're missing a ton of speed, 25% boost to your speed. You have 100 base speed, he gives you another 25. Insane. You have 110, he gives you a little bit more, 11 more. No, 25 times 111, however that is, all right? And he gives you that. Insane. He's got this A2 AoE attack, decrease the duration of full buffs, which is not that known as a good thing, but it is very useful for areas even like the Doom Tower. You can still use stuff like this, but again, he suffers from it requiring a ton of books. And why you care about this? Because if you book this out first, because it's all RNG in terms of booking, you're going to be missing out in terms of booking this. Possess right here, this A1 attack, 50% chance of removing one random buff from the target. Again, doesn't really matter for us for the specific role that we'll be sending him for, but he does do his job with the aura and the big A3 there. Masteries, no masteries on him at the moment, but if you want, you can go for Sniper, and that's enough. Sniper is going to help you with an extra 5% chance to apply that weaken. And that is Spider. Enough with the talk. Let's just go and I'll show you an example of how good he can be here in the Spider's Den. Other areas where he can be good is areas such as, I would say, the Ice Golem. The reason for Ice Golem is because he has the decreased attack. Decreased attack helps you survive a little bit against bosses, because this specific boss hits you pretty hard when the 2 adds are up alive. So decreased attack, even if he has the 2 adds alive where he ignores 100% of defense, is still gonna make him hit for half which is great. But again, it's a chance to hit. So maybe getting the Sniper Mastery for that is also good, right? Spiders then is where I'm going to be showcasing him. You can use him for Dragon's Lair if you want to, but not so great in there. Fire's Knight, of course, not that great. Very long cooldowns for his skills. If you get something to not land, unfortunately, on the big boss, then you'll have basically your champion just doing nothing. So Spider is like an empty slot in there. So better just put anything else. Let me just show you the team that actually broke my previous record. Now my team is at a 10-second run, and this is the team that I used for Spider 20, showcasing the unique Spider champion. All right, I have a custom AI set already, and the custom AI has the Cold Hearts go, of course, with the Heart Seekers, Royal Guards to go with their big takedowns. These are built with a ton of critical damage. It doesn't matter for Spider 20 because this is a boss that doesn't cap out the damage compared to Spider 25. So very different, but it still works. So have a look at this. Have a look at how it works. I know the critical damages are pretty high, but you'll see that I have a lot of room to push in terms of what we can get here. We got unlucky with no weaken on the boss, but still look at what we can do. 10 seconds for the run. So one of these didn't do as much damage as they could have done, but still imagine if you had stuff like the weaken in there. You can use with much less critical damage, and even without the weaken, maybe if you have these 4 nukers right there, look at that. With the weaken, we have the final Royal Guard just doing that a little bit of damage in there. I definitely think that that Spider is very underrated in what he can do. These 10-second runs are great if I ever want to just run very quick Spider runs for silver compared to Spider 25. You don't get as much silver compared to the energy that you're spending. So this team is definitely great for this. 100% chance for this to work. This is not gonna fail ever because of the double Cold Heart. I have to get extremely unlucky, so maybe I shouldn't have said never, but even without landing the weekend, because he has that great defense down that he does apply, it's still a fantastic way for you to ensure that you get quick runs. Spider, amazing champion, can enable these champions to make you a very quick run. Unfortunately, it doesn't work on 25s because of the cap and damage. Even if you have something like a Prince Karma for a reset, which you can use here. Let's say if you had half the damage stats that I have at the moment, you can use a Prince Karma to reset them. And if they're fast enough, they'll go before even the small spiderlings and give you the win. But Spider, such an underrated champion. I just thought about doing a video on him because stuff like this can go unnoticed by players. They can have him in the vault, they can just get him, and because he's not a champion that is often talked about, they just never bother with them, and they might have the solution there waiting, and they might have everything else, and they just don't realize, okay, I can use this one to do what I was trying to do to get Arbiter. So here's your answer, guys. Try out Spider. Let me know down in the comments if you want me to do a video on a different epic champion that might be, again, underrepresented, I would say, in the dungeons. Spider is so good for the Spider, again, for maybe Ice Golem as well. I wouldn't use him for any other areas because of that very long cooldown, unfortunately, on his A3, because if he, let's say, uses it in the first couple of turns, couple of waves for the keeps right here, he's not gonna have it available for the boss, or unless you have him slower than your DPS champions, which doesn't make sense, then he won't be using it because your DPS champions might be taking out the waves first, and then once you reach the boss, then he can apply it. That's Spider. That's the epic that I'm recommending for today. Unfortunately, the bad thing about him is that he does require a ton of books to have that better chance to apply those debuffs. If you do have those books available, consider that if you don't have anything else to help you through the Spider. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.